My beloved child, there was a moment when everything looked silent on the surface, yet behind that silence, forces were moving in ways you could not see. What appeared ordinary was never ordinary at all. While you were trying to stay calm, while you were wondering why certain doors became heavy to open, while you were asking why certain faces suddenly changed around you, something unexpected had already begun to unfold. Do not skip, because what is being revealed now connects directly to the season you are standing in. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and every second matters more than you realize. There were people who believed your strength would fade if enough pressure surrounded you. They thought delay would weaken your confidence. They thought silence would confuse your heart. They thought distance would make you forget who you are. But what they never understood is this. Some moments are designed in such a way that the harder someone tries to push you down, the more visible your rising becomes. And this is where everything changed. The day they expected you to lose direction, something unexpected happened behind the scenes. A conversation took place without your knowledge. A decision was made in a place you never entered. A thought entered someone's mind at the exact time you were questioning why things felt different. What looked like an ending was quietly being redirected into a beginning. You felt something unusual recently, didn't you? A strange pause. A silence that felt heavier than usual. A moment where you sensed that something around you was shifting even though nothing visible had changed yet. That feeling was not random. It was the first signal that hidden movement had already begun. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because while you thought nothing was moving, pieces were already changing position. What was spoken against you did not stay where it was spoken. What was intended to slow you down did not stay in the same direction. What was planned in confidence by others began losing shape the moment it touched the path prepared for you. That is why some people suddenly became quiet. That is why certain reactions around you no longer feel the same. That is why something inside you has been telling you to keep watching carefully. There are moments when life becomes so quiet that people mistake silence for absence. But silence is often where the strongest turning points begin. Before major changes become visible, they usually arrive as invisible shifts. A closed expression. A delayed reply. A sudden pause. A strange feeling that something is about to happen but you cannot explain why. You are standing inside one of those moments now. And what makes this moment different is that the very thing meant to discourage you has become evidence that something greater is already moving in your favor. Someone expected your energy to break. Instead, your calm became stronger. Someone expected your focus to disappear. Instead, your vision became sharper. Someone expected your story to become small. Instead, your presence became impossible to ignore. Do you understand how unusual that is? The same pressure that should have made you uncertain has started revealing how much strength was hidden inside you all along. And now, because of that, something unexpected is about to become visible. Stay till the end, because this next part matters deeply. There is a reason certain memories have returned recently. Certain old thoughts. Certain names. Certain moments you believed were finished. They are not returning without purpose. Sometimes before something new becomes clear, old pieces briefly rise so you can finally understand what was happening all along. You were never as behind as you thought. You were never as forgotten as it seemed. You were never standing alone in the way you feared. The truth is, while you were waiting for proof, proof was already being prepared. That unexpected event you did not see coming has already begun touching more areas than you know. A person who once doubted now watches differently. A space that once resisted now feels uncertain. A situation that once looked fixed has quietly started changing shape. And the most surprising part? This began at the exact moment they thought nothing would change. Do not skip. Because people often notice the result but never understand the hidden second when everything first turned. That hidden second has already happened. You may not have seen it, but something already moved. And once that first unseen movement begins, visible results never stay far behind. That is why your spirit has been restless. That is why your attention keeps returning to certain thoughts. That is why ordinary moments suddenly feel like they are carrying unusual weight. Something is approaching that will make previous confusion finally make sense. Not loudly. Not all at once. But clearly. And when it becomes clear, even you will look back and realize that what felt like pressure was actually the beginning of a powerful turning point. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. What they thought would stop you has become the very reason a new chapter is opening. What they assumed would remain hidden is beginning to surface in ways nobody expected. And what looked delayed is closer than it appears right now. So remain attentive. Remain steady. Because the unexpected part of this story is only beginning, and what comes next carries a weight that cannot be ignored. And then, without warning, the atmosphere around you began to shift in a way no one could explain. What had felt slow for so long suddenly carried a different weight, as if invisible doors were moving before your eyes could even notice them. The same people who once looked certain about your limits are now standing in quiet confusion, because something they never expected has started happening. Do not skip, because this moment is deeper than it appears. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the next part may explain why your heart has felt unusually alert. There is always a hidden point in every story where everything changes before anyone notices it. That point does not arrive with noise. It comes quietly, almost unnoticed, while ordinary hours continue moving like nothing is different. But beneath those ordinary hours, something extraordinary begins arranging itself. That is exactly where you are now. Someone thought your silence meant you had accepted less. Someone thought your patience meant you had no more strength left. Someone believed the delay around you would slowly make you disappear from the picture they created in their minds. Yet while they were deciding what your future should look like, something entirely unexpected was already unfolding beyond their reach. A thought changed. A direction shifted. An opportunity moved closer. And what makes this moment so unusual is that none of it happened in a way anyone could predict. You may have noticed recently that certain things no longer feel the same. A place feels different. A conversation carries another tone. Even small moments seem to hold a strange sense of expectation, as if something just beneath the surface is preparing to reveal itself. That feeling matters. Because often, before life shows visible change, it first places a signal inside your awareness. A quiet signal. A subtle alert. A sense that something larger is approaching even when the world still looks ordinary. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. What they did not understand is that some stories become stronger precisely when others assume they are ending. What they thought would reduce your light has only made your presence more noticeable. What they assumed would weaken your direction has sharpened your clarity. And now there is a reason certain people cannot fully ignore you anymore. Because what was meant to fade has begun standing out. What was meant to be delayed has started moving. What was meant to remain unseen is slowly becoming impossible to overlook. There is also something else you need to understand. Not every shift happens where you are looking. Sometimes the most important movement happens far outside your view. In places you cannot enter. In thoughts you cannot hear. In moments you never witnessed directly. Yet those unseen moments still affect your story. Right now, one of those unseen moments is already touching your future. Someone is reconsidering something. Someone is noticing something they had ignored before. Someone is beginning to understand what they failed to understand when they first looked at you. And that realization changes more than you know. Stay till the end, because the next truth is something many people never recognize until much later. The pressure you experienced was not proof that you were losing ground. It was proof that your next step carried more significance than you realized. Pressure often gathers around moments that matter most. That is why the season felt heavier. That is why ordinary things felt unusually intense. Because hidden beneath that pressure was movement. And now that movement has begun producing signs. A delay that suddenly feels lighter. A silence that no longer feels empty. A strange peace arriving where confusion once stayed. These are not random details. These are signals. Signals that something once blocked is beginning to open. Signals that what looked fixed is no longer fixed. Signals that the story others thought they understood is becoming something completely different. Do not skip. Because this is the exact point where many people stop watching, and then later realize they missed the most important part. The unexpected event was never just one moment. It was the beginning of a chain of changes. One shift created another. One hidden decision touched another outcome. One unseen movement prepared another opening. And that chain has not finished. It is still moving. That is why this feeling inside you refuses to settle. That is why your attention keeps returning here. That is why even now, something inside you says there is more. And there is more. Because very soon, something that looked ordinary may suddenly carry meaning you did not expect. A word, a message, a meeting, a moment, an answer, something simple may arrive carrying far more importance than it first appears. When it does, remember this moment. Remember that before visible change arrives, hidden change always begins first. And hidden change has already begun. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The story is not slowing down. It is building quietly, layer by layer, until what was hidden becomes undeniable. And when that moment reaches you, the same people who assumed your path had narrowed will realize they were watching the wrong direction all along. But here is the part almost nobody sees at first. The moment they believed your story had reached its limit was the exact moment a completely different chapter began to form around you. Nothing announced it loudly. No sign appeared immediately. Yet beneath the surface, something began connecting in a way that even now is still unfolding. Do not skip, because this part carries the reason certain things around you suddenly feel unusual. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and what comes next may explain why recent moments have felt heavier than normal. There are times when change arrives so quietly that people mistake it for nothing. They continue speaking the same way, thinking the same way, assuming everything remains exactly as before, while hidden movement has already started changing the direction of everything. That hidden movement is important now. Because while some were still looking at who you used to be, something new had already begun shaping who you are becoming. And the surprising part is this. The same pressure that seemed designed to slow you down has now become evidence that your path carries more weight than anyone expected. Someone noticed something they had overlooked. Someone heard something they did not expect to hear. Someone began connecting details they once ignored. And once those details connected, the picture around you stopped looking the same. That is why certain reactions around you feel different lately. Even if no one says much, something underneath has changed. Sometimes silence itself reveals that people are thinking more deeply than before. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because there is always a moment when hidden truth begins rising quietly, and once it starts rising, it cannot remain invisible forever. You may not yet see the full result, but signs are already appearing. A strange calm arriving where there used to be uncertainty. A quiet confidence appearing without clear explanation. A feeling that something unfinished is moving closer to completion. Those signs matter more than you think. They often arrive before major clarity. And clarity is closer now than it was before. What they thought would reduce your influence has unexpectedly increased your presence. What they assumed would make others forget you has made your name return to places where it was not expected. What they believed would close your story has opened attention in directions they never planned for. This is why timing matters so much. Because some moments look delayed only because they are gathering more meaning before becoming visible. Right now, meaning is gathering. A detail that once seemed small is becoming important. A moment that looked ordinary is becoming connected to something larger. A quiet shift is preparing a visible result. Stay till the end, because many people miss this exact point and later wonder why they did not recognize the signal when it first appeared. The signal is this. What once looked stable around you is no longer as fixed as it seemed. Thoughts are changing. Perspectives are changing. Expectations are changing. And sometimes the most powerful turn in a story begins not when everything becomes loud, but when quiet changes start appearing in places nobody expected. That is why your attention has been pulled towards certain thoughts repeatedly. That is why ordinary moments suddenly feel meaningful. That is why something inside you keeps saying there is more happening than you can currently explain. Because there is more. A hidden answer is closer than you think. A delayed piece is moving. A result once far away is now approaching through small unseen steps. Do not skip. Because what is happening now is not random delay. It is preparation. Preparation often feels slow while it is happening, but once the result becomes visible, every silent day suddenly makes sense. And soon, one simple moment may reveal how much was changing behind the scenes all along. It may come through a word you hear unexpectedly. A reaction you did not predict. A moment that looks small but carries unusual weight. When that happens, remember this: the unexpected part of your story began before anyone recognized it. It began while others still assumed nothing had changed. It began while silence covered movement. It began while hidden details were quietly taking new shape. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the story is still rising, and what comes next may carry the clearest sign yet that what was meant to pull you down has instead become the reason a stronger chapter is now opening before you. And now the most surprising part begins to appear, because what was hidden for so long is no longer staying in the background. The quiet changes that started earlier are beginning to gather into something stronger, something clearer, something impossible to dismiss. Do not skip, because this part may explain why certain moments recently felt unusually intense. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the next turn in this story carries a meaning that many only understand after it has already arrived. There is always a stage where hidden movement becomes too strong to remain invisible. Before that stage, everything feels uncertain. Questions remain unanswered. Silence feels longer than expected. But when that stage arrives, even ordinary moments begin carrying signs that something larger is near. That stage is closer now than before. A detail you almost ignored may soon become important. A quiet shift may suddenly reveal why previous delays happened. A simple moment may carry more meaning than anyone expected. And the reason this matters is because what others assumed was your lowest point has quietly become the place where your direction changed most powerfully. Someone expected your focus to weaken, yet your calm became stronger. Someone expected your confidence to fade, yet your presence became more noticeable. Someone expected your story to slow down, yet hidden progress continued without announcement. That is why certain people no longer respond the same way. Because even when words are few, change can still be felt. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Sometimes people notice a shift before they fully understand it. They feel something has changed, but cannot explain why. They sense that the old picture no longer fits, yet they do not know what replaced it. That is exactly what is happening around you now. The picture is changing. Quietly. Carefully. But unmistakably. What once looked closed now carries signs of opening. What once looked distant now feels nearer. What once looked uncertain now holds an unusual sense of direction. And perhaps the most surprising truth is this: the unexpected event was never meant to arrive loudly. It was meant to arrive with precision, touching one moment after another until suddenly everything looked different. This is why patience has mattered more than you realized. Because some answers are not delayed, they are timed. And when timing reaches its right point, even small moments begin carrying extraordinary meaning. You may soon notice something simple that feels unexpectedly significant. A sentence. A response. A moment of recognition. A shift in atmosphere that cannot be ignored. When that happens, do not dismiss it. Because often the first visible sign of change looks ordinary before its meaning becomes clear. Stay till the end, because this next truth explains why the title of this story matters so deeply. They tried to bring you down by assuming your path would remain limited. They thought pressure would decide your direction. They believed silence would define your future. Yet what they never expected was that hidden progress would continue even when nothing visible confirmed it. And hidden progress changes everything. It means what looked paused was still moving. It means what looked silent was still active. It means what looked delayed was still advancing. That is why you must pay attention now. Because when hidden progress reaches visible form, many people suddenly realize they misunderstood the entire season. Do not skip. Because one of the strongest moments often arrives just after people assume nothing more is coming. And right now, more is coming. A clearer answer. A stronger sign. A moment that may cause you to look back and understand why every uncertain step had meaning. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The story has not reached its highest point yet. It is still rising, still gathering clarity, still preparing the moment where what was once hidden stands clearly in front of you. And when that happens, even those who watched quietly will understand that what they thought would lower your story became the very reason it moved into a stronger direction than anyone predicted. And this is where everything reaches the point that nobody expected, because what began as quiet movement is now close to becoming undeniable. The pieces that were shifting silently are no longer scattered. They are coming together, and when they do, even the moments that once confused you will suddenly begin to make sense. Do not skip, because this final part carries the strongest turn in the story. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and what happens next explains why nothing you experienced was without purpose. There are seasons when life seems to move in fragments. One day feels unclear, another feels delayed, another feels silent. But hidden beneath those fragments, a complete picture is forming. You only recognize it when the final pieces begin to connect. That connection is near now. A moment is approaching where something ordinary may suddenly feel extraordinary. Not because it arrives loudly, but because it carries an answer you were not expecting. The reason this matters is because what looked like resistance around you was never the full story. Behind that resistance, unseen progress continued building. That is why you survived moments that should have exhausted your focus. That is why your inner strength remained even when clarity felt far away. That is why certain closed spaces around you never fully stayed closed. Because what was moving for you did not stop simply because you could not yet see it. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. And now, the people who once assumed your direction had become small may soon witness something they did not prepare for, visible proof that your story was never standing still. A quiet answer may arrive. A delayed recognition may surface. A simple event may suddenly carry unusual importance. When it happens, it may look small to others, but to you it will feel different, because you will recognize that this moment carries the weight of everything that came before it. This is why every silent day mattered. This is why every uncertain hour held meaning. This is why even unanswered moments were still building toward something. Because some chapters only reveal their power at the end, when the hidden pattern finally becomes visible. And there is a hidden pattern here. Every delay taught you how to remain steady. Every quiet moment sharpened your attention. Every unexpected pause created space for something stronger to align. That alignment is no longer far. Stay till the end, because many people leave just before the clearest truth appears. The clearest truth is this: what they thought would lower your story has become the reason your story now carries deeper strength than before. What they thought would weaken your direction has made your steps more intentional. What they thought would reduce your influence has quietly increased the meaning of your presence. And now something once hidden is preparing to stand in plain view. Not with noise. Not with confusion. But with unmistakable clarity. A single moment can change how an entire season is understood. A single sign can explain many silent days. A single shift can reveal that while others were watching one direction, the real movement was happening somewhere else entirely. That is why this final part matters so much. Because you are closer than you realize to seeing why the unexpected happened exactly when it did. Do not skip. Because when the next sign arrives, you may immediately remember this moment and understand that the turning point had already begun long before anyone recognized it. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The story does not end in silence. It ends in realization, the realization that hidden progress was stronger than visible pressure, that quiet movement was greater than outside assumptions, and that what seemed uncertain was actually leading toward a stronger chapter all along. And when that chapter fully opens, even you may pause and realize that what looked like an attempt to bring you down became the exact reason something remarkable rose instead.